Urban apartment complex, early evening. A busy street. A delivery boy, Oliver, is navigating through traffic on his scooter. He stops in front of an upscale apartment complex interior of a cozy apartment where Evelyn, a young professional, is working on her laptop. Oliver knocks on the door, food delivery. Evelyn opens the door, hi, thank you. Takes the food and smiles. Oliver, you're welcome. Have a great evening. Evelyn, you too. Oliver walks away, and Evelyn closes the door, glancing at the receipt and noticing his name. Evelyn sits at her dining table, savoring her meal. Her laptop is still open, with emails and documents strewn across the screen. She glances again at the receipt, noticing Oliver's name handwritten at the bottom, Oliver, have a great day. Evelyn smiles, feeling a warmth from the simple gesture. She gets back to her work but keeps stealing glances at the receipt, as if it holds some hidden charm. Oliver's scooter, later that evening. Oliver, now off duty, parks his scooter at a small cafe. He takes out his phone and scrolls through his messages. One stands out, a notification from a local community board app where people leave comments and reviews for service workers. Big shout out to Oliver from tonight's delivery. Thanks for the great service and the little note. Made my evening. Evelyn S. Oliver smiles, feeling appreciated, and types a quick thank you reply. Evelyn prepares her coffee, already logged back into work. Her phone buzzes with a reply notification. She clicks on it, reading Oliver's response, and chuckles softly. Evelyn, to herself, why not? She taps on his profile, noticing his interest in a local photography club. Interior of the photography club a week later. Evelyn enters, looking around nervously. The club is filled with various enthusiasts, sharing their latest shots. Oliver, holding a camera, notices Evelyn and recognizes her from the delivery. Surprised but delighted, he approaches her. Oliver, smiling, hey, Evelyn, right? From the community board? Evelyn, smiling back, guilty. Thought I'd see what this photography club is about. Oliver gestures around, well, welcome. We're pretty laid back here. Do you have a camera, or are you just here to check it out? Evelyn laughs, just checking it out. Maybe I'll learn something new. Oliver, playfully, I can show you around, if you'd like. Evelyn, I'd love that. Oliver guiding Evelyn through different photography techniques. Evelyn snapping photos, laughing at her mistakes. The two sharing moments of conversation, slowly getting to know each other. City Park, late afternoon. Evelyn and Oliver walk through the park, their cameras slung over their shoulders. They stop at a bench, sitting as the sun sets in the background. Evelyn, thoughtfully, you know, I never expected a simple food delivery to lead me here. Oliver, grinning, life's funny like that. Sometimes it just takes a small gesture to start something new. Evelyn, smiling, I'm glad it did. Oliver, me too. A few weeks later. Evelyn is on her couch, reviewing her latest set of photos. Her apartment is cozier now, adorned with small framed pictures from her outings with the photography club. She scrolls through her phone and stops at a text conversation with Oliver. Text message. Oliver, hey, the club is planning a night shoot at the old train station. You in? Evelyn, sounds exciting. Count me in. Old train station, night. The group gathers at the dimly lit station, setting up tripods and cameras. Evelyn and Oliver pair off, walking around the site together, snapping photos of the vintage architecture and the play of light and shadow. Evelyn, whispering, it's a bit eerie, but beautiful in a way. Oliver, nodding, yeah, there's a lot of history in places like this. You capture the soul of it when you shoot at night. They pause, their cameras clicking in the quiet night. A gentle breeze stirs the atmosphere, adding to the mystique of the setting. Evelyn, softly, I'm really glad I met you, Oliver. Oliver, turning to her, same here. You've got a great eye for this. It's been fun sharing it with you. their eyes meet, a shared understanding passing between them. They lean in slightly, the anticipation growing, but a sudden loud noise interrupts them, a train horn in the distance. Evelyn, laughing nervously, well, that was unexpected. Oliver, grinning, keeps things interesting. A cozy cafe's later that night. Oliver and Evelyn sit at a corner table, sipping warm drinks. The soft hum of conversation and clinking dishes create a relaxed ambience. Oliver, curious, so, what made you decide to come to the photography club that night? Evelyn, smiling, honestly? I wanted to see if the guy behind the delivery note was as kind as he seemed. Oliver, playfully, and did I meet expectations? Evelyn, teasing, you might have exceeded them. They both laugh, the connection between them deepening with each passing moment. Evelyn, smiling, it's convenient, and the food's great. Your deliveries are always the highlight of my day. Oliver, chuckling, well, I'm glad I can brighten your day with some takeout. What do you do that keeps you so busy? Evelyn, sighs, I'm a graphic designer. Freelance. Projects come in waves, and when it rains, it pours. What about you? Is delivering food your main gig? Oliver, it's part-time. I'm actually studying to become a paramedic. Delivering food helps pay the bills. Evelyn, impressed, a paramedic? That's amazing. You must really care about helping people. Oliver, yeah, I've always wanted to do something that makes a difference. It can be tough, but it's worth it. What about you? Why graphic design? Evelyn, thoughtful, I've always loved art, but I also enjoy problem solving. Graphic design lets me combine both. Plus, I can work from anywhere, which is a bonus. Oliver, that's really cool. I guess we both like to create things, me, a safe environment, and you, beautiful designs. Evelyn, smiling, never thought of it that way, but yeah, you're right. Oliver, after a pause, hey, if you ever need a break from work and want to grab a coffee or something, I'd love to hang out sometime. Evelyn, grinning, I'd like that. But only if you promise to bring your best delivery stories. Oliver, deal. And you can tell me about your most challenging design projects. They exchange numbers, and as Oliver leaves, there's an undeniable spark in the air. The connection that started with a simple food delivery begins to grow into something more. Oliver arrives at the cafe early, nervously tapping his fingers on the table. He glances at the door, and soon enough, Evelyn walks in, her smile lighting up the room. Evelyn, approaching the table, hey, Oliver. Hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. Oliver, standing up, smiling, not at all. I got here a bit early. Want to grab something to drink? Evelyn, sure. I'll get a latte. What about you? Oliver, just a black coffee for me. I'll get them, my treat. Oliver heads to the counter while Evelyn finds a cozy spot by the window. He returns with their drinks, and they settle into a comfortable conversation. Evelyn, taking a sip of her latte, so, tell me, what's the craziest thing that's happened on one of your delivery runs? Oliver, grinning, oh, there are so many. But one that stands out is when I had to deliver to this huge mansion, and their gate wouldn't open. I ended up climbing over it, only to be greeted by a massive dog. Luckily, he was friendly. Evelyn, laughing, that sounds like something out of a movie. Did you make it out unscathed? Oliver, barely. The dog just wanted to play, but I had to explain to the customer why their food was a little late. What about you? Any wild client stories? Evelyn, smiling, oh, plenty. Once, a client changed their entire project scope the night before a deadline. I had to pull an all-nighter to get it done. The client loved it, but I was a zombie for days. Oliver, laughing, sounds intense. Freelance life must be unpredictable. Evelyn, it is, but I love the creative freedom. Plus, I get to work in my pajamas sometimes. Perks of the job. Oliver, teasing, pajamas and takeout? Living the dream. Evelyn, laughing, pretty much. So, why a paramedic? Was it something you always wanted to do? Oliver, yeah, kind of. My dad was a firefighter, and I always admired how he helped people. I wanted to do something similar but in the medical field. Evelyn, impressed, that's really inspiring. It takes a special kind of person to do that job. Oliver, thanks. I just hope I can make a difference, you know? They continue talking, sharing stories about their childhoods, dreams, and aspirations. As the afternoon turns into evening, the cafe grows quieter, and they find themselves lost in each other's company. Evelyn, glancing at her watch, wow, I didn't realize how late it's gotten. Time flies when you're having fun. Oliver, smiling, yeah, it does. I'm glad we did this. Evelyn, me too. We should do it again sometime. Oliver, definitely. How about dinner next time? My treat again, of course. Evelyn, grinning, you've got yourself a deal. They exchange smiles, the air between them filled with promise. As they part ways, both feel a newfound excitement for what the future holds. Their connection, sparked by chance encounters, begins to blossom into something more meaningful, setting the stage for a budding romance filled with laughter, challenges, and shared dreams. Morning coffee. Oliver and Evelyn sit at a quaint coffee shop, the morning sun filtering through the windows. They each hold a cup of coffee, their laughter mingling with the soft hum of the cafe. Oliver shares a funny story from his childhood, and Evelyn's eyes light up with amusement. Oliver, laughing, and that's how I ended up with my head stuck in the railing. Evelyn, giggling, I can't believe you actually did that. Bookstore browsing. In a cozy, independent bookstore, Oliver and Evelyn meander through the aisles. Evelyn flips through a novel, while Oliver thumbs through a collection of poetry. They exchange recommendations, discovering shared interests in literature. Evelyn, holding up a book, have you read this one? It's one of my favorites. Oliver, nodding, I've been meaning to. Let's add it to our reading list. Street art adventure. The two wander through an alley adorned with vibrant street art. Evelyn, inspired by the colors and creativity, takes photos with her camera. Oliver watches, intrigued by her passion for capturing the world around them. Oliver, smiling, you have an eye for beauty, Evelyn. Evelyn, blushing, thanks, Oliver. It's just something I love to do. Evening walk. As the sun sets, they stroll along the waterfront, the city lights reflecting on the water. Their conversation turns more personal, sharing dreams and aspirations. Oliver talks about his job, and Evelyn shares her desire to open an art gallery. Oliver, I can see you owning a gallery one day. You have the talent and vision for it. Evelyn, smiling softly, and I can see you leading a team of brilliant minds. You're so driven, Oliver. Late night ice cream. In a bustling ice cream parlor, they sit with cones in hand, debating the merits of different flavors. Evelyn teases Oliver for his classic vanilla choice, while he raises an eyebrow at her adventurous lavender honey selection. Evelyn, grinning, you need to step out of your comfort zone, Oliver. Oliver, playfully, I'll try new things if you promise not to judge my love for simplicity. Under a canopy of twinkling fairy lights, Oliver and Evelyn sit on a bench, watching the world go by. The air is filled with the distant sound of a street performer playing the violin. They share a comfortable silence, feeling the warmth of their growing friendship. Evelyn, whispering, this has been one of the best days. Oliver, softly, I couldn't agree more. As the montage ends, their connection deepens, setting the stage for the next chapter of their evolving relationship. Rainy day escape. A sudden downpour catches Oliver and Evelyn in the middle of their walk through the city. Laughing, they dash into a nearby shop for shelter. It turns out to be an old record store, filled with vintage vinyl and soft jazz playing in the background. They browse through the collection, their fingers occasionally brushing as they reach for the same record. Evelyn, excitedly, look. This is the album my dad used to play every Sunday morning. Oliver, smiling, sounds like it holds a lot of memories. Let's listen to it. cooking together. At Oliver's apartment, they decide to cook a meal together. Evelyn, despite her artistic talents, is not the most skilled in the kitchen. They end up laughing at her failed attempts to chop vegetables, while Oliver takes over with a mock-serious expression. Oliver, teasing, maybe we'll stick to art for you and cooking for me. Evelyn, laughing, agreed. But I make a mean dessert, so be ready. One night, Oliver surprises Evelyn by taking her to a rooftop with a perfect view of the city skyline. He brings a small telescope, and they spend hours gazing at the stars, pointing out constellations, and sharing stories of their childhood dreams. Evelyn, dreamily, I always wanted to be an astronaut, just to see the stars up close. Oliver, thoughtfully, I think you already do that with your art, bringing the stars closer to everyone. Evelyn suggests they spend a weekend volunteering at a community garden. Together, they plant flowers and vegetables, enjoying the simplicity of working with their hands. They bond over the shared sense of purpose, making friends with the other volunteers. Oliver, wiping sweat from his brow, who knew getting your hands dirty could feel this rewarding? Evelyn, nodding, it's like nurturing something and watching it grow. Kind of like us. On a lazy Sunday, they have a movie marathon at Evelyn's place, complete with popcorn and cozy blankets. They take turns picking their favorite films, from Oliver's classic action movies to Evelyn's romantic dramas. The comfort of each other's company makes the day perfect. Evelyn, snuggling into the couch, I could do this every weekend. Oliver, grinning, I wouldn't mind either. But next time, I'm picking all the action movies. Their friendship deepens as they begin to confide in each other about their struggles. Oliver shares his doubts about a big project at work, and Evelyn opens up about her insecurities as an artist. They support each other, offering advice and encouragement. Oliver, you've got this, Evelyn. Your work is incredible. Evelyn, and you're going to nail that project. Just remember, you're not alone. One morning, they decide to watch the sunrise from a hill overlooking the city. As the first light breaks over the horizon, their conversation grows introspective. They talk about their fears, hopes, and the unexpected connection they've built. Evelyn, quietly, I didn't expect to find someone who understands me like you do. Oliver, gently, me neither. But I'm glad we did. As the sun rises, their bond feels stronger than ever, hinting at the possibility of something more than just friendship. Evelyn, smiling softly, I'm glad we met here, Oliver. This park, this bench, it feels like our special place. Oliver, gently squeezing her hand, it is. Every time I come here, I think of you. It's like the world slows down when we're together. Evelyn, nervously, there's something I've been meaning to tell you, something I've been holding back. Oliver, concerned, what is it, Evelyn? You can tell me anything. Evelyn, taking a deep breath, I've been hurt before. It's hard for me to trust again. But with you, it feels different. Safe. Oliver, tenderly, I understand. I've had my share of heartbreaks too. But I promise, Evelyn, I'm here for you. I want to be the one who makes you believe in love again. They sit in silence, the orange hues of the sunset casting a warm glow around them. The sound of birds settling in for the night adds a peaceful rhythm to the air. Evelyn, smiling through her emotions, thank you, Oliver. For being patient with me, for just being you. Oliver, smiling back, thank you for letting me in. I don't want to rush things, Evelyn. Let's take it one day at a time, as long as we're together. Evelyn rests her head on Oliver's shoulder, and they sit in comfortable silence, watching the sun dip below the horizon. As the sky darkens and stars begin to twinkle, Oliver and Evelyn decide to take a walk through the park. The cool breeze carries the scent of blooming flowers, and the soft rustle of leaves fills the air. Evelyn, do you remember the first time we met here? Oliver, chuckling, how could I forget? You were sketching that old oak tree, and I accidentally bumped into you while jogging. Evelyn, laughing, you nearly ruined my drawing. But I'm glad you did. It gave us a reason to talk. They walk past the old oak tree, now shrouded in the evening shadows. Oliver stops and turns to Evelyn. Oliver, gently, Evelyn, I don't want to lose what we have. This, whatever we're building, it means a lot to me. Evelyn, softly, me too, Oliver. I want to see where this journey takes us. Oliver pulls Evelyn into a warm embrace, holding her close as if to shield her from the uncertainties of the world. They continue their walk, hand in hand, under the starlit sky. Back at the bench, they sit down again, basking in the serenity of the night. Evelyn, thoughtfully, do you ever wonder where life will take us? Oliver, smiling, all the time. But right now, I'm just happy to be here, with you. The future can wait. Evelyn, nodding, you're right. Let's make the most of the present and face the future together. They share a gentle kiss, a promise of new beginnings, and a testament to the bond they've formed. As the park lights flicker on, casting a golden glow, Oliver and Evelyn sit side by side, ready to face whatever comes next, together. A promise under the stars. The gentle glow of the park lights illuminates their faces as Oliver and Evelyn continue to sit on the bench, wrapped in the comfort of each other's presence. The night air is filled with the distant hum of city life, but in their little corner of the world, everything feels peaceful. Oliver, breaking the silence, Evelyn, there's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Evelyn, curious, what is it? Oliver, hesitant, I've been thinking about how much I enjoy spending time with you, how every moment we share feels like a step toward something greater. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'd like to take this as more seriously. Evelyn's eyes widen slightly, a mix of surprise and delight crossing her face. Evelyn, softly, you mean, like a real relationship? Oliver, nodding, yes. I want to be there for you, through the good times and the bad. I want us to be something more, if you're ready. Evelyn's heart flutters at his words. She's been cautious about opening up, but Oliver's sincerity touches her deeply. Evelyn, smiling, Oliver, I've been scared to hope for something like this. But with you, I feel ready to try. I want this too. I want us to be more. Their eyes meet, a silent understanding passing between them. It feels like a pivotal moment, a new chapter beginning in their story. As the night deepens, they walk hand in hand toward the edge of the park where the city lights twinkled like distant stars. Oliver, playfully, so, what's next for us, Ms. Artist? Any grand plans? Evelyn, grinning, well, Mr. Jagger, how about we start with a proper date? No park benches, no accidental encounters, just you, me, and maybe some dinner. Oliver, laughing, that sounds perfect. Though, I have to admit, these park benches have a certain charm. Evelyn, teasingly, true. But I think we've earned a nice dinner. They stop near the park entrance, where the streetlights cast a warm glow. Oliver looks at Evelyn with a mix of affection and anticipation. Oliver, seriously, I'm looking forward to getting to know every part of your world, Evelyn. Your dreams, your fears, everything. I want to be there for all of it. Evelyn, touched, and I want the same, Oliver. Let's discover each other, bit by bit. As they step out of the park, the city buzzes with life around them, but Oliver and Evelyn are in their own bubble of newfound commitment. They talk about their favorite things, laugh about silly memories, and share hopes for the future. Evelyn, pausing, Oliver, I've always thought of myself as a free spirit, someone who doesn't like to be tied down. But with you, it feels like freedom. Like I'm finally where I'm meant to be. Oliver, smiling, that's how it should be. No cages, no constraints, just us, finding our way together. They walk into the city, hand in hand, ready to face whatever comes next. The night is young, and their story is just beginning, filled with promises of love, laughter, and endless possibilities. Evelyn is on the phone, sounding frustrated. Evelyn, on the phone, I can't keep doing this, Mom. I know you don't approve, but Oliver makes me happy. Oliver arrives to find Evelyn distressed. Oliver, is everything okay? Evelyn, just family stuff. They're not thrilled about us. Oliver, we'll figure it out together. I'm here for you. Evelyn and Oliver are sitting on the couch. Evelyn's hands are trembling as she holds a cup of tea. Oliver, gently taking her hand, Evelyn, I know this is hard for you. What did your mom say? Evelyn sighs. She said that I'm throwing away everything I've worked for by being with you. She thinks you're a distraction, that we're too different to make it work. Oliver, frowning, and what do you think? Evelyn smiles faintly. I think she's wrong. But it's just, I hate disappointing her. I've always been the perfect daughter, and now I feel like I'm being pulled in two directions. Oliver, pulling her closer, I understand. But you don't have to do this alone. We'll face it together, no matter what they say. Evelyn rests her head on his shoulder. I'm just scared, Oliver. What if she's right? What if we're too different? Oliver, softly, differences don't have to tear people apart. They can bring balance, make things stronger. I love you for who you are, Evelyn. And I believe in us. Evelyn squeezes his hand. I love you too. I just hope that's enough. Evelyn's family home, the next morning. Evelyn stands outside her parents' house, nervously adjusting her coat. She takes a deep breath and rings the doorbell. Her mother, Margaret, opens the door, her expression a mix of surprise and concern. Margaret, sternly, Evelyn. What are you doing here? Evelyn, firmly, we need to talk, Mom. About Oliver. Margaret sighs, come in, then. They sit in the living room, tension hanging in the air. Margaret, crossing her arms, Evelyn, you know how I feel about this. He's not right for you. Evelyn, calmly, and I appreciate your concern, but this is my life. Oliver makes me happy, and I love him. Isn't that what you want for me? To be happy? Margaret, pausing, of course I do. But relationships are about more than just happiness. They need to be built on common ground. Evelyn, smiling softly, we do have common ground, Mom. You just don't see it yet. But if you give him a chance, I think you'll understand why I'm with him. Margaret studies her daughter's face, seeing the determination and love there. Margaret softens, if he means that much to you, I suppose I owe it to you both to give him a fair chance. Evelyn, relieved, thank you, Mom. That's all I ask. Evelyn, Oliver, and Margaret sit together, sharing a meal. There's a lightness in the air as they laugh over shared stories. Slowly, the barriers begin to fade, replaced by understanding. Margaret, smiling, you're quite different from what I expected, Oliver. Oliver, grinning, I'll take that as a compliment. Margaret chuckles, it is. I can see why Evelyn loves you. Evelyn and Oliver exchange a happy glance, knowing that while there's still a journey ahead, they're taking the first steps together, as a family. Evelyn and Oliver are curled up on the couch, watching a movie. There's a comfort in the silence between them, the kind that comes from shared moments and mutual support. Evelyn leans her head on Oliver's shoulder, a peaceful smile on her face. Evelyn, softly, it feels good, you know? To not have to hide how I feel anymore. Oliver, kissing her forehead, I'm glad. You deserve to be free, Evelyn. Free to be yourself, and to love who you love. Evelyn, nodding, it's like. I spent so much time trying to meet everyone's expectations, I forgot what really mattered. I don't want to live for anyone else's approval anymore. Just for me and for us. Oliver, gently lifting her chin, that's the only way to live, Evelyn. For yourself. But I also know that this journey hasn't been easy for you. You're strong. And I'll always be here to support you, no matter what comes our way. Evelyn sighs, I'm still worried about my mom, though. What if things go back to how they were before? Oliver, seriously, it won't be easy, but you've already taken the hardest step. You stood your ground, and you opened up to her. It might take time for her to fully accept us, but you've shown her who you are. That's the best you can do. Evelyn, smiling, you're right. I can't control everything. I just want her to see that I'm not making a mistake. I want her to understand that I'm happy with you, and that's enough. Evelyn is back at her parents' house, but this time, it feels different. The air is lighter, the tension gone. Margaret sits across from her, a thoughtful expression on her face. Margaret sighs, Evelyn, I've been thinking a lot about everything you said. And I wanted to apologize. Evelyn, surprised, apologize? For what? Margaret, gently, for being so hard on you. I've always wanted the best for you, but I realized that my version of what's best wasn't your version. You're an adult now, and I need to respect that. I need to trust your judgment. Evelyn, smiling, eyes welling with emotion, Mom, thank you. That means more than you know. Margaret, softly, and I've been talking to your father. He's not thrilled about it, but he respects your decision. We just want you to be happy, Evelyn. Evelyn, nodding, I am, Mom. I really am. And I want you to get to know Oliver the way I know him. Margaret, smiling, I'd like that. It's a start, at least. Evelyn and Oliver are back at home, sitting on the couch again. They're quietly enjoying their time together, but there's a sense of excitement in the air. Oliver, smiling, so, how did it go with your mom? Evelyn, grinning, better than I expected. She apologized, Oliver. She said she was wrong, and she wants to try to understand us. I think we're finally getting through to her. Oliver, eyes sparkling, that's amazing, Evelyn. I'm so happy for you. Evelyn, hugging him tightly, I couldn't have done it without you. You were the strength I needed to stand up for what I believe in. Oliver, whispering, we're in this together. Always. Evelyn and Oliver are sitting around the dinner table with Margaret and her husband, Richard. The atmosphere is warm and friendly, filled with laughter as they all share a meal. Margaret, raising a glass, to new beginnings. Evelyn, clinking glasses, to family. Oliver, smiling at Evelyn, and to us, for showing that love is the strongest bond of all. They all laugh, and as the evening stretches on, Evelyn feels a sense of peace settle over her. It's not perfect, but it's progress. And that's enough. The evening at Evelyn's parents' house had started with awkward silence hanging in the air. Evelyn's mother, Gloria, had been especially reserved, while her father, Frank, gave Oliver the kind of measured looks that suggested he was sizing him up. The tension in the room was palpable as they all sat around the table, the clink of silverware against plates the only sound breaking the silence. Oliver had tried to keep his cool, glancing occasionally at Evelyn for reassurance. He could feel her eyes on him, a silent promise that everything would be okay. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was under a microscope. As dinner progressed, however, something shifted. Frank, the quiet patriarch, shared a story about his younger years, one that involved a misadventure with a car he had bought in his youth, much to Gloria's dismay. The laughter that followed broke the ice. Evelyn's mom, with her dry wit, teased Frank about how he always took the biggest risks, even back then. Oliver, encouraged by the laughter, chimed in with a few light-hearted comments. To his surprise, he found that the conversation began to flow more naturally. Gloria's stern demeanor softened, and Frank started to ask him more about his life, his work, and his aspirations. Finally, as the evening wound down and the last of the dessert was served, Gloria leaned back in her chair, looking at Oliver with a mix of curiosity and approval. She spoke slowly, her tone much warmer than when they'd first arrived. You know, Oliver, you're not what I expected. But seeing how happy you make Evelyn, I'm willing to give this a chance, she said, her eyes meeting his with a gentle, almost maternal understanding. Oliver's heart swelled with relief and gratitude. He hadn't expected such a direct affirmation, especially not from Evelyn's mom, whose high standards he'd been nervously anticipating. Thank you, Oliver said, his voice thick with emotion. That means a lot to me. I truly care about Evelyn, and I want to make her happy. Evelyn smiled at him from across the table, her eyes bright with affection. The room seemed to exhale together, the tension finally dissipating. Frank, who had been quietly observing, nodded approvingly. Well, we'll see what happens next, Frank said with a half smile. But for tonight, I think we're good. As the night wore on, they found themselves talking about everything and nothing: Evelyn's childhood memories, Frank's adventures in the corporate world, Gloria's gardening tips. For once, Oliver felt like he was no longer an outsider. He had earned a place in this family, and maybe, just maybe, he and Evelyn could find their way forward together. The evening ended with the warm promise of a new chapter, one where Oliver wasn't just Evelyn's boyfriend, but someone they could start to embrace as family. As the evening wound down and the last of the coffee was served, Evelyn's mom and dad began to clear the table, their movements synchronized after years of practice. Evelyn's younger brother, Max, who had been unusually quiet throughout the dinner, leaned over to Oliver, his expression shifting from the usual teenage aloofness to something more curious. "So, you're the guy who's been making my sister so happy?" Max asked, a smirk tugging at the corners of his lips. There was a glimmer of mischief in his eyes, but there was no malice, only a playful curiosity. Oliver chuckled, feeling the weight of the conversation lighten. "I'm trying to, at least," he replied, meeting Max's gaze. "But it's not always easy. Your sister is a bit of a handful." Max laughed, leaning back in his chair. "I can tell. She's got that stubborn streak, just like Dad." Evelyn, who had been helping her mom with the dishes, caught the exchange and rolled her eyes in mock exasperation. "You two are terrible," she said, but there was a warmth in her voice that made it clear she appreciated the humor. The evening continued with casual chatter, and soon enough, the awkwardness of the beginning had all but vanished. They moved to the living room, where Evelyn's parents settled onto the couch, and Max, who had grown quieter, began to open up about his recent interest in photography. Evelyn, clearly eager to show off her boyfriend's talents, encouraged him to share his work with Oliver. "Maybe you could give Max some tips," Evelyn suggested, her voice light with excitement. "He's been obsessed with photography lately." Oliver, sensing the opportunity to bond further, smiled. "I'd be happy to. Maybe I can show you a few things after the holidays?" Max's eyes brightened at the offer. "Yeah, that'd be awesome." The rest of the evening passed by in a comfortable blur. Oliver found himself caught up in stories from Gloria's gardening adventures, while Frank shared some old tales from his youth, both of them remarkably similar in their humor and timing, which made Oliver wonder if it was a trait that ran in the family. Evelyn leaned into him occasionally, her hand brushing his, her subtle way of letting him know that everything was falling into place. Before they knew it, the clock had crept well past midnight. Evelyn stood and stretched, yawning. "All right, we should probably head out before my parents turn into pumpkins," she teased. Her parents chuckled, clearly content. Frank stood up and clapped Oliver on the back. "We'll see you two soon. Glad you could join us tonight, Oliver. And don't be a stranger." Gloria smiled warmly, a stark contrast to the coolness she had shown earlier in the evening. "Take care, you too. And don't wait so long to come by next time," she added, her tone soft and almost maternal. As they left the house, Evelyn wrapped her arm around Oliver's waist. The cold night air nipped at their faces, but the warmth between them felt like enough to ward off any chill. Evelyn's eyes sparkled in the streetlight as she leaned up to kiss him. "I think that went well," she said, her voice a mix of relief and joy. "I'm proud of you. You handled it better than I ever could have hoped." Oliver grinned, his heart still racing from the evening's events. "I was nervous, but they're good people. I'm glad it went well, too." As they walked to the car, hand in hand, a sense of peace settled over Oliver. This was a huge step for them, for their relationship. He wasn't just Evelyn's boyfriend anymore, he was part of her world, and slowly, he was earning his place in her family's heart. The road ahead might still have its challenges, but for the first time, Oliver felt like he had a real shot at navigating them. And with Evelyn by his side, he was ready for whatever came next. The same park bench, now slightly cooler as evening sets in. The light has dimmed, but the warmth between Oliver and Evelyn remains palpable. They are no longer just two people, but partners, deciding what their future together will look like. Oliver, eyes soft, his hand resting on hers, "So, now that we're engaged, do you have any ideas about what comes next? Evelyn, thoughtfully, looking at her engagement ring, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. It feels like we're standing at the edge of something huge. And it's exciting, but also a little scary. Oliver, nodding, understanding the weight of the moment, I get it. A lot has changed in the past year, and so much of it is, well, us. But I know we can handle anything, as long as we're together. Evelyn smiles, squeezing his hand, but there's a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. She looks down at the ring again, turning it slowly, contemplating the commitment it represents. Evelyn, I want to make sure we're making all the right choices. Not just for us now, but for the future we're going to build. Should we stay here, keep things as they are, or should we take a leap? Oliver, raising an eyebrow, curious, what kind of leap are you talking about? Evelyn, turning to face him fully, her voice quiet but resolute, well, I've been thinking about our careers. About where we see ourselves in 5 or 10 years. You're thriving in your business. I'm happy with my job, but I'm not sure it's where I want to be long term. Do we take risks? Do we move somewhere new? Maybe even start something completely different. Oliver pauses, thinking carefully. I love how you're already thinking ahead. That's one of the things I admire about you. I'm all for taking risks, as long as we're in this together. We could move, we could start something new, whatever it takes to build the life we want. Evelyn looks at him, her heart swelling with love and a renewed sense of certainty. She had always known that their connection was special, but now, hearing him say those words, she realizes just how deeply aligned their dreams are. The weight of her decision is still there, but it doesn't feel as heavy when she knows she has someone by her side who shares her vision. Evelyn, smiling brightly, I think we should go for it. Let's not just follow the path laid out before us. Let's carve out our own way. Let's explore new places, maybe even start a business of our own, something we're both passionate about. Oliver laughs, I love how adventurous you are. I'm in. Let's build our future from the ground up. They both stand up, and Oliver pulls her into a hug, the excitement of their decision fueling their embrace. The park, with its calming nature and gentle sounds, now feels like the perfect backdrop for the promise of their future. They're ready to step forward, to make the decisions that will define their lives together. The next few months are a whirlwind of planning, packing, and deciding. They research cities to move to, looking for a place where both their careers can grow, but also where they can start fresh. They talk about the business they'd like to open, a cafe that blends Evelyn's love of food and Oliver's passion for tech, something unique that could bring people together. They spend hours designing a business plan, talking through the logistics of finding the right location, the best suppliers, and the perfect atmosphere. It's not easy, but it feels right. Evelyn, as they sit in their living room surrounded by boxes, I thought this process would feel more overwhelming, but it doesn't. It just feels exciting. Like we're really in this together. Oliver, smiling as he looks over at her, we are. This is just the beginning. Finally, they make the leap. They move to a new city, set up shop, and pour everything into their dream. The cafe opens, and with it comes the joy of seeing their hard work pay off. It's not just a business that thrives, so do they, as a couple, learning and growing every day. They face challenges, but they face them together, their partnership stronger than ever. As the months pass, they find their rhythm in the new city, becoming more deeply entwined in both the business and each other's lives. Their cafe becomes a beloved local spot, and their love story, once sparked by a simple food delivery, continues to unfold in ways neither of them could have imagined. Evelyn, one evening, as they watch the sun set over their new city, sitting at the cafe's window, I'm so glad we made the decision to take that leap. We created something amazing together. Oliver, taking her hand, smiling contentedly, and we'll keep creating, together. Whatever comes next, we're ready for it. As they sit there, the cafe buzzing softly with the laughter of customers, it's clear that the future they've built isn't just about business or success. It's about the life they're creating together, a life filled with love, risk, and the courage to follow their dreams. And in that moment, they know that no matter what challenges lie ahead, they've made the right decision.